chosen one. This moment, right here, it's not random. It's not a coincidence. This is your signal, your confirmation that everything you felt stirring inside you is real. You've been chosen for something bigger, something bold, and deep down, you already know it. You've felt different, called, set apart, and now the universe is roaring in agreement. So listen closely. You are not average. You are not forgotten. You are being activated. The delay wasn't denial. It was preparation. And now your breakthrough is standing at the door, pounding with purpose, waiting for you to rise. This is your time to lock in, level up, and lean all the way in. You were born for this. Let's go. The momentum is building, and hesitation is no longer an option. The window to step into a greater alignment is narrowing rapidly. Opportunities that once felt distant are now arriving at lightning speed. The call to step forward isn't subtle. It's roaring in your ears like a rising tide. There's a stirring in the air, a shift that demands immediate motion. Before anything else, engage fully. Let your focus anchor this moment. Mark your presence, signal your intention, and set your energy in motion. Make your action count now. This is the ignition point, not a rehearsal. An unseen current flows now, stronger than logic, deeper than intention. It pulls not the curious, but the committed. If your course stirs as these words reach you, it's because you're tuned to something beyond the surface. The message isn't asking for your attention, it's claiming it. The pulse you feel, that's not coincidence, it's resonance. You've encountered many crossroads, but this one speaks a different language, one the soul doesn't mistake. Those unready will look away, but those meant for more will recognize the summons and stay. Looking for purpose and peace? Hit subscribe and start the journey. There's a clarity that doesn't come from answers, but from recognition. Not the kind that is explained, but the kind that settles like a deep inner exhale. Every moment you doubted, questioned, or felt misplaced is now folding into something coherent. This isn't just encouragement, it's a forceful reaffirmation of what your spirit quietly held on to. There's no flash or spectacle, just the sacred stillness that confirms you weren't lost, you were being aligned. That silent thread you followed has led you here, for a reason that now reveals itself with unmistakable power. The weight you carried wasn't unnoticed. It was acknowledged by something far beyond ordinary sight. This acknowledgement doesn't arrive as words, but as a surge of calm that electrifies your steps. There's a kind of support that doesn't announce itself, but builds behind you like wind in a sail. You didn't just hold on, you transformed through storms, and now that unseen witness, call it grace, the divine, or something more ancient, has stepped in not to rescue you, but to amplify you. You're not walking alone anymore. You're walking with rhythm that mirrors your courage. Feel God's love stirring within you. Don't let it stop there. Hit the super thank you button and sow a seed of $20 or more. That simple act can ignite hope, heal hearts, and carry His love further than you imagine. You were made to shine His light. This is your moment. Be the miracle someone's been praying for. Let heaven move through you. The persistence of your belief, even when cloaked in uncertainty, has sparked forces you can't fully name. Every silent act of endurance, every inward choice to keep going, created a signal in the invisible. That signal was never ignored. The challenges were never there to end you, but to reveal the depth of what you carry. Where others may have crumbled, you rebuilt again and again. That rebuilding was seen. It was felt. And now it's being answered with clarity that cannot be shaken. The path you've carved out, through quiet faith and unshakable tenacity, has become a story echoed in unseen chambers. The strength wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual, absolute. The one who endured is no longer waiting for approval. You're now being mirrored by something much larger. What you reflect is no longer fragility, it's fireproof spirit. The whispers of criticism and doubt are nothing against the thundering affirmation rising in your favor. Their noise was never your measure. It was merely static on the edge of something sacred. None of what slowed you down ever had the power to stop you. The friction, the setbacks, the dismissals, those weren't endings. They were heat, meant to forge. Now the resistance has given way to flow. What once felt blocked is opening without resistance. The delay wasn't denial, it was design. The quiet period you endured was a gestation, not a rejection. And now, what was growing in silence is breaking through, undeniable and unstoppable. Step beyond the screen. Join and help light the way for others. The haze is lifting, and what once felt like a distant echo now rings with unmistakable clarity. The judgment passed from above is not tentative or vague. It is definitive, bold, and alive with purpose. Let the echoes of disbelief fade into the background. The core of what matters has remained untouched, preserved like a sacred ember through every trial. True strength isn't loud or showy. It's the subtle grit to keep moving when every fiber aches to give up. And through every silent night and invisible struggle, that inner flame endured. It was never extinguished, only tempered for this exact moment. What returns now isn't repayment. It's a response, a tailor-made offering from the eternal, not necessarily dressed in the form you imagined, but undeniably perfect in essence. These gifts are drawn from a reservoir that has watched your persistence and honored your sacrifices. There's a shift taking place, invisible but undeniable, arranging circumstances to deliver what your soul has long whispered for. This juncture is no accident. It is the echo of your resilience, returning not only to sustain you, but to lift you beyond what once felt like limits. This transformation, born of patience, now prepares to crown your persistence. This next chapter will not mirror what came before. The rhythm has changed, and the scale is unrecognizable from past seasons. What awaits is not simply progress, it is a redefinition. The decision made in your favor rewrites not just your days, but the very direction of your existence. The magnitude of what's coming doesn't tiptoe in. It arrives like a tectonic shift, silent and irreversible. What had once stalled is now moving at the pace of destiny. It brings with it a tide of restoration, depth, and favor that will seep into every corner of your world. Invisible architects have been sculpting this turning point behind the curtain of time. The release of it now is no coincidence. It's synchronization. Like a great instrument finally striking its intended note, your life is harmonizing with something that's been in preparation long before this day. The stage is cleared, the space has been made, and the invitation has been sent. Not broadly, but specifically. What's coming is not random. It was reserved. And as this vision finally emerges, it brings with it a calling for readiness, a preparation not of hands, but of spirit. This calling is not casual. It is layered, demanding that old thoughts be washed away to make space for what's been divinely appointed. The changes ahead require openness, not resistance. Holding on to outdated fears will only dull the brightness of what's being given. The moment to act is carved in urgency, not from panic, but precision. Delay means missing the alignment. The rhythm of this divine unfolding doesn't wait for indecision. It passes like a rare constellation, meant for those willing to trust the unseen and act from intuition. The signal isn't loud, but it is direct. The gentle pull inside your chest is not emotion, it's guidance. Ignore it, and the door narrows. Heed it, and you step into design beyond comprehension. There is no room now for second-guessing. Time is not your adversary, but it is moving, and the energy that surrounds this season is selective. Only those truly attuned will respond in time. This initiation begins not with a step, but with a release. Before all else, the spirit must be cleared. This inner cleansing isn't tradition, it's transformation, a ritual of readiness, sculpting the soul into a vessel worthy of what's coming. Step beyond the screen. Join and help light the way for others. Something remarkable is awakening within, a soft reconfiguration of the soul, inviting light into places long shadowed. Imagine an internal sunrise slowly pushing through layers of weariness and burden, revealing a terrain refreshed and ready. This rebirth is not loud or dramatic. It is subtle, like the first breath after deep sleep. The clutter of yesterday's doubts and emotional scars begins to melt away, not through force, but through deliberate surrender. In this stillness, there is a preparation, a quiet, sacred clearing that makes room for something vast and sacred to enter. Let this renewal become rhythm. Let it be the gentle thread woven into your daily silence, a choice to shed what no longer serves and to open your core to new resonance. The past may linger in fragments, but even those can be washed clean by this ritual of return. The moment demands wholeness, not perfection, readiness, not resistance. This isn't about earning what comes next, but receiving it with hands free of bitterness. There is an unseen nearness always present, one that understands every flicker of uncertainty and joy alike, that reflects your deepest longings back to you without judgment. What's being extended now is more than comfort. It's an unspoken communion. This presence doesn't hover from above, but walks beside, attuned to each heartbeat and breath, not removed, but immersed. In moments of fatigue, it holds without words. In moments of celebration, it rejoices without noise. It is a companionship so quiet, yet so complete, that even in solitude, you will feel strengthened. The reality of this nearness isn't theoretical, it's living, pulsing through every inch of your journey, responding in kind to every ounce of faith you've held. When your heart is full of God's love, it's a sign to give. By tapping the super thank you button and offering $100 or more, you become a vessel of His grace. Your generosity can change lives, reaching hearts you may never meet. You have a divine purpose, and this act of faith carries His light forward. Give now, and may His blessings surround you always. There comes a moment when the world begins to reflect back the light you carry. The shift is imperceptible at first, like dawn creeping into the edges of night. People begin to sense something without understanding why. Eyes that once overlooked start to linger. Words offered shift in tone, from casual to reverent. This isn't manipulation or persuasion. It's energy, the unseen influence that changes rooms before you speak. And it isn't merely recognition, it's realignment, as if unseen hands are orchestrating connection and respect in your favor. Every environment you step into begins to recalibrate, not because you demand attention, but because you radiate alignment. You become the tuning fork that resets the space. Opportunities arise without explanation. People approach with ideas, offers, or simply acknowledgement. The transformation is subtle, yet undeniable. What once felt unreachable now draws near. What once resisted now flows. This isn't luck, it's resonance, and it will continue to ripple outward because the frequency you now embody opens more than doors. It redefines landscapes. What unfolds from here may surprise even your most hopeful expectations. The unexpected becomes common. Help arrives without request. The weight you once bore alone is now met with hands you never anticipated. It could be a stranger's generosity, a timely message, a partnership that seems impossibly aligned. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations, markers on the road of divine orchestration. And while they may appear external, each one echoes an inner shift. The proof that the path you're walking is not only real, but blessed at every step. This incoming support isn't charity, it's alignment. It's the tangible expression of being in step with something vast and wise. Let it in without fear, without pride. It's not about what you've done to deserve it, it's about what you've become. These surprises are not just windfalls, they're invitations. Evidence that life is conspiring not just around you, but through you. Remain open, remain grounded, and watch as what was once considered out of reach becomes part of your new normal. Every closed chapter made space for this. Every delay was just the earth turning toward this light. The path is clearing, and a rare steadiness begins to rise within, like a quiet thread of certainty weaving through your thoughts. Choices that once paralyzed you with doubt now feel more like natural steps forward, as though an unseen hand is gently turning your gaze toward what truly matters. There is no longer a need to chase answers. They begin to unfold effortlessly within you, arriving like echoes from a wiser, anchored part of yourself. The fog of uncertainty dissolves, replaced with a deep-rooted knowing that cannot be shaken. Inner alignment has become your compass. That subtle pull guiding your direction is not random. It is refined through experience, insight, and a higher connection constantly whispering through your intuition. Trust this unfolding. Each time you lean into it, the road becomes clearer. There is a rhythm now, a kind of precision where once there was noise. You'll marvel, not at how everything suddenly worked, but at how perfectly every step prepared you for this moment. The long-awaited pivot is here, and its impact will echo across every part of your journey. What's approaching carries weight. This isn't a minor shift. It's a gateway to a far-reaching transformation, a chance that will challenge what you think you're ready for and call you into deeper courage. But challenge is the birthplace of growth, and you are no longer standing at the edge. You're being drawn into the very center of your calling. There's no need to shrink back. You've been forged quietly for this moment, equipped in silence for an elevation that will reshape not only your life, but how you walk through it. A sweeping tide of opportunity is arriving, but this current doesn't bring only external rewards. It carries inner restoration, the return of authority, creativity, and conviction. You're entering a season where your voice holds weight, your insight moves others, and your influence is no longer muted by doubt. What is being given is not just stability, it is strength, married with clarity. You are not just meant to receive, you are meant to lead. This unfolding chapter will not just sustain you, it will give you the tools to lift others with you. Success, once sporadic and fleeting, is now becoming the very soil you walk on. But it will not come with imbalance. It arrives with harmony, where your purpose is clear, your actions feel meaningful, and your wins are shared. This is not the noisy kind of triumph, but the kind rooted in deep fulfillment. What grows here lasts, and with that endurance comes responsibility. These gains are not just yours to hold, but to invest wisely, to be a channel of elevation, not only for yourself, but for everyone drawn into your light. The door that once felt eternally closed has finally creaked open, and the world is beginning to echo back your worth. Momentum is building, and each day adds another piece to the vision, long carried in silence. You are no longer climbing blind. You are advancing with support. New alliances will appear where you least expect them. Collaborations, encouragement, and provision will come in unusual forms, all pointing toward the same truth. Your path is sacred, and it's being reinforced at every turn. These arrivals aren't accidents. They are confirmations, proof that nothing you endured was meaningless. Every sleepless night, every invisible burden, every unseen tear, all were seeds buried deep in sacred soil. And now, at long last, they are breaking open with purpose. The seasons of strain weren't punishment, but preparation. That ache in your spirit was the sound of old things being replaced by something more enduring. You were never forgotten. You were being refined, shaped with intention, for a moment that only you could fulfill. The unfolding has begun, and with it comes the realization that the hardship once endured was never random or cruel. Every ache, every silent plea was shaping the foundation for something far greater than the pain itself. What once muted the spirit now becomes the very proof of its strength. The cracks you feared would break, you have instead become passageways through which a brighter power shines. The trials didn't erase your story. They rewrote it with deeper meaning, preparing the stage where your resilience becomes revelation. A shift is emerging, one that pulls you from the corners and places you in view. The long seasons of invisibility were not punishment. They were preparation in disguise. Now, the quiet cultivation of your soul is being unveiled, not to spotlight you, but to make visible the light that was always there. The silence is ending. What has been brewing in the unseen is coming to the forefront, and the time has arrived for your presence to be recognized as necessary, not optional. Your voice will carry weight. Your presence will speak purpose. Recognition is not about attention, it's about alignment. Encounters, once fleeting, will now hold meaning. People will gravitate toward the essence of who you are, moved by something they can't quite name, but deeply feel. This is not the result of effort or ambition. It's the product of divine orchestration. The atmosphere around you is changing because what lives within you can no longer be hidden. Your influence will extend, not from desire, but from design. The moment calls you into visibility, not to be seen, but to serve. Step beyond the screen. Join and help light the way for others. This ascent won't follow the steps of logic. It will rise like a spark from stillness, catching momentum that feels impossible to contain. One season, you're in the waiting room, and the next, you're standing at the helm of something too timely to deny. It won't feel earned the way the world defines it. It will feel given, as if a current picked you up and moved you ahead. The pace may shake your expectations, but not your footing. You were prepared for this without realizing how ready you'd become. Acceleration will bring clarity, not chaos. Though the unfolding may seem sudden, it is rooted in ancient timing. The rise will be swift, but the roots are deep. This momentum is a tribute to your endurance. It's the outcome of staying true when detours tempted you away. You'll begin to receive insight that goes beyond logic, wisdom that seems downloaded from realms unseen. Ideas will arrive fully formed, Solutions will appear before questions are fully asked. This guidance isn't random, it's sacred, and it comes to lead, not just assist. The mind will stretch to hold what the spirit already knows. Don't resist the impressions. They are not dreams, they are directions. Through stillness, through inner attunement, more will be given. This communication isn't loud, but it's unmistakable. Each insight is a map. Each word you catch within your soul is a marker on the path. Stay open, stay tuned, and let the flow of insight teach you to walk with assurance, even when the world still looks uncertain. Everything that once felt like loss now reconfigures as foundation. The gaps in your past, the collapses, the emptied places, they are now receiving an overflow. But what's pouring in is not mere replacement, it is multiplication. Restoration is arriving not to fix the old, but to gift something entirely new. Where things were missing, now there is overflow. Where sorrow once settled, joy will take residence. It's not about returning to what was, it's about stepping into what never could have come without the fire. When your heart is full of God's love, it's a sign to give. By tapping the super thank you button and offering $100 or more, you become a vessel of His grace. Your generosity can change lives, reaching hearts you may never meet. You have a divine purpose, and this act of faith carries His light forward. Give now, and may His blessings surround you always. This is the rebirth of everything once feared destroyed. The scattered pieces are forming a masterpiece, and the life ahead holds more than you dared to want. Let go of the scarcity in your mind. Abundance is coming with intention. Step with expectation, not fear. The season of rebuilding is over. This is the season of becoming, where every former fracture becomes the pathway for blessings to break through. Momentum has found its rhythm again, and what once felt like an endless stall has shifted into motion with undeniable force. The cycle of waiting has been severed, and the energy around you is no longer dormant. Something powerful is propelling you forward, not by accident, but by design. What felt like endless hesitation is now giving way to decisive action, movement, and clear direction. Barriers that once stood firm are dissolving, and the path that was fogged with uncertainty now reveals itself with clarity and pace. Movement is not only permitted, it is divinely accelerated. Projects that lingered in limbo now stir with life. Ideas that once seemed distant or tangled are unraveling with grace, forming into opportunities you can finally grasp. Every step you take carries more weight, more speed, more purpose. This velocity is not chaos, it's orchestration. Everything you endured has built toward this crescendo. Each breakthrough you experience is not random. It is a living echo of the persistence that brought you here, a reflection of a higher intelligence that honors those who refuse to give up. You are not merely advancing, you are being launched. What comes next isn't just for celebration, it is a commission. The unfolding narrative of your life will stir others, not just because of what you achieve, but because of how you got there. You are becoming a living example, a human roadmap for those lost in their own delays. Your resilience is no longer private. It is transforming into shared hope. Witnesses will not be passive observers. They will find themselves changed simply by watching how you rise. What surrounds you now carries a responsibility to inspire, to lift, to guide through your example. Voices carry weight in this season, and yours is growing stronger. Your speech will no longer feel like mere expression. It will take on the energy of transformation. Your words will not only motivate, they will awaken. Use this gift not to impress, but to plant. Each phrase, each declaration, each affirmation has the potential to shift atmospheres and tilt destinies. Speak not from emotion, but from alignment. Let your voice craft futures and tear down limitations. Language, once overlooked, has now become your instrument of creation. Resources are finding their way to you, not just financial, but emotional, intellectual, and relational. The scarcity you once normalized is being replaced with unexpected provision. New streams are forming where none existed before. The flow will not be random or rushed, but perfectly timed and strategically placed. The key to unlocking this abundance is not hustle, but alignment. Show up with integrity. Be a trustworthy vessel, and the supply will not only come, it will continue. This isn't just support, it's investment. The return will benefit many, not just one.